Hey everybody, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let me just get that pulled up, and then we'll walk through a quote and everything that goes with that. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, and Brooke, are you able to see my screen just to confirm before I get started here?
Yes, yes, I
Perfect.
am.
Okay, thank you. All right, just to kind of start off here, so I'm starting out on the quote screen here. So just to start off, just to get there, you're going to hit enter and go to quotes and then hit job quotes. It'll bring you to our quoting screen. Just wanted to start off with that. Now, I'm going to walk through some of the fields here as I'm working through this example quote that I'm going to build out. And then like Brooke said, if there's questions, Lori and her will talk about those in the chat, and then we'll have a time to answer questions later on as well. So just to start out, our quote number is right now we have it automatically generated. It's something that we can set up in NextGen to have your quote numbers automatically generate so that you don't have to worry about numbering them yourself. Our company is going to default to the company that we set up. Same with our department. Departments, different sections of your business, different types of jobs maybe require different types of departments. So that's why we have departments here. Our yard is the yard that the quote will be going out from. Our customer here is going to be the customer that we're going to be doing a quote for and a potential job for. So I'm going to just select a customer from our list here. I'll select these guys as an example. If you don't have the customer in your list in NextGen, you're able to add a new customer by clicking this new button. This will allow you to add a new customer with new job sites and customer contacts as well. Job site is going to be where we're going to be going for the job. Similar to our customer field here, if you don't have the job site entered, you're able to enter in a new job site by hitting this new button here. Our report to is going to be, if you know this ahead of time, it's going to be the individual that your field personnel will be reporting to on site. Again, if you don't have that person in there right now, that's fine. If you do, I would suggest filling that out. And similar to your job site and customer, you can add a new report to person contact, I guess I should say, instead of person contact. Quoted to is going to be the person who you are quoting to. That can be the same as the on-site contact. It can be someone different. Just add whoever is applicable in this field. As you can see, it's going to fill in their contact information that we have on file for them, and same with our quoted to as well. As you notice down here at the bottom, we have our bill to information. As we have our bill to selected for their corporate address, you can change the bill to information and address at any time by selecting this opt-in. If I had multiple options, I could select different bill to. Our job site information down here is basing off of whatever job site that we had selected up here. It's going to bring in the job site address. If there was a phone number for that job site tied to there, you can have that, or a fax as well. All right, and kind of moving on to this second column here in the quote. This is where we're going to fill in some job dates and some start times and end times that you can estimate. So, in this example, I'll have a job go out for, let's just say next Wednesday, and I'll just have it a one-day job. So this job date is going to be your job start date. This ending date down here is going to be your job ending date. Even if you don't necessarily know the ending date of the job, it is best practice to put an ending date in this field. It doesn't have to be exact. It can be changed at any time throughout the job process and the quote process, things like that. So it is best practice to put an ending date in there if you do know it, even if you're guessing or estimating, I guess I should say. Job time and ending time is similar to job date and ending date. Our job time is going to be our estimated start time for the job, and our ending time is going to be our estimated end time for the job. Again, like I said, these are estimates. You may not know that what they will be exactly, but it's good to put this information in here for reference for the field guide when you're sending them out, Atom tickets, and dispatching them out on the job. Okay. I'll leave these defaulted in at 6 to 4. You can change these times to whatever you need them to be. And again, you can change these throughout the process at any time if anything changes. Right. And this final date here, if the customer were to give you a deadline in terms of getting a quote into them, let's just say it was by Friday they needed the quote in, you can notate that here in this final date. It's for your information only, just to keep track of your quotes and when you need to submit them by. If you're going to submit the quote the same day you fill it out, you know, you can put this date here, or you can put whatever date they give you. Perfectly fine. Submitted date is going to be the date that you actually submitted the quote to the customer. So like I said, if you're working through this quote today and you're going to finish it today and send it out today, you can put today. If you send it out tomorrow, if you save it here, send it out tomorrow, you'll put tomorrow, so on and so forth. Okay. So I'll put today since we're filling this out today. Award date. This date right here is the date that the customer will award you the job, that you get the confirmation back from them. You know, if they say, okay, we're a go for next week, you can specify whatever date you got that email or call back from the customer and put that in here for your information, just to keep track of that date. I'll put today, just for the demo purposes. This status field right here, this will default as pending. We have a couple different statuses that we have added in here in this example. If the customer awarded you the quote, you would obviously want to change this status to awarded, so you're sure. You know, on the other side of things, if you did end up losing a quote, you can specify that here by selecting this status, and you can have your own statuses in NextGen that you can set up. These are just the ones that we put in here for today. If a quote is lost, you can assign it a lost code. This is something else that we can also set. This field here, we just have set up for today. A couple different reasons why we may have lost the quote. We just put a couple of examples in here. So, you know, if we have equipment availability issues, we can specify that. And then there's this lost comments box where we can get more into detail as to why equipment wasn't available or what equipment wasn't available. You can kind of get, you know, pretty granular with it at that point. For our purposes today, I'm going to give the quote to us as awarded, so I can show you the rest of the quoting process. In that instance, we won't need to fill out any lost comments. All right, certified payroll. If the job is going to be a certified payroll job, you can mark that as yes. This one I'll leave at no for now. So that's what that field is for. This quote minimum, you know, you'll fill this out if there is a dollar amount in mind that you don't want to go below when you're quoting. Again, it's for your information only. It's for your purposes and keeping track of your data and things like that. So if you know you can't go lower than, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 on a job, you can specify that number here. Again, this is an estimate. So this quote max, this will populate when we fill out our estimate tab. So I'll show you that here in a little bit. So this will default to 0. This will automatically populate as we work through our quote. So we won't have to worry about filling that out right now. Our salesperson tab, we can select a salesperson to assign a quote to. So if I'm the person putting in this quote, I'm the salesperson, you know, who is putting in this quote, I'll put myself as the salesperson. If I am filling out a quote for somebody else, that's what this taken by field is for. So if Lori was filling out this quote for me, instead of me doing it, even though it's my quote as a salesperson, Lori can specify and tell us that she's the one that put in the information, even though she's assigning it to me as a salesperson. For today, I'll put myself as the taken by, because since I'm the one filling it out myself. This checked by, if you needed to do any sort of job site walk, for example, or you're going out on the job, you know, if I went out and did a job site walk for this quote, I could put myself as checked by. If that's not needed, you don't necessarily have to fill out this checked by field. So that is what this is for. Job type. This field allows you to change what kind of job type this quote is for. If it's going to be for an hourly job, which it is for today, we can leave it at that. If it's going to be a bare rental, we can specify that here as well. Or if it's going to be a contract job, you know, we can set different job types up in the system. So these are just the ones that we have here today. So I'm going to put this quote as an hourly job for today. Moving down to our equipment required comments and description of work. These fields are pretty important to communicate to your customer and to your field personnel about the job that you are quoting for. So equipment required is used differently by different people, but typically you want to put in any ancillary pieces of equipment that are going to go out with your crane. I'm doing a quote for a crane. So in this example, so anything like man baskets, spreader bars, mats, anything like that, you can specify it here in the equipment required. For today, just to keep it simple, I'm just going to put that we need spreader bars for this, or a spreader bar bars for right now. You can put as much as you want in here. I'm just keeping it simple for today. Right. And our comments field, this is where you can notate any comments that you want to communicate out to the field personnel. These are also customer facing comments as well. So again, everyone uses these a little differently. Just for an example, we can put in something like, job starts at 6 a.m. just to communicate that to the field guys as well. Description of work is going to be what we're doing on the job. This is important for your field personnel to see, to know what they're doing. So you can get as detailed as you want in this box. So for now, I'm just going to put in, lifting HVAC units onto roof, just as an example for this quote that we're doing. In-house right here, this is where you can put any comments that aren't customer facing that you want to keep in-house, any information that you want to have on the quote for your record, but not have customer facing, you can fill that out here. If you had a PO number, if you knew that information for this quote and job, you can put that PO number in here. I'll leave this blank for now. So, all right. Jumping down here to our industry code, we can also set this up to to say different things. Whatever you want your industry codes to be, we can set those up however you need them to. But this is kind of breaking up your quotes into different segments of business or industry. So if it's going to be a gas job or a coal job, cell tower job, HVAC, anything like that, you can break out your quotes into those kind of categories. For this instance, I'll pick HVAC since that's what we're doing on this job today. And at this point, our main tab is pretty much filled out like we want it to. And if that's the case, we'll move on to our unit people tab over here. This is where we're going to fill out what we need to send out on the job. This will also help our dispatcher when we convert this quote to a job. So if you hit this add unit people up here, I'm going to use 150 ton just as my example here. And next, you can build out templates, as some of you may know, that will automatically populate when you are dispatching out a certain piece of equipment. So if I hit tab here on my 100 ton, I'm sorry, it will pull through what typically goes out with a 100 ton. This can be changed at any time by the salesperson or whoever's doing the quote, and it can be changed at the dispatch level on the job screen as well. So you can build out certain configurations in NextGen that pull through certain templates for pieces of equipment, just to kind of save you time at the end of the day. So in this instance, for this job, just as an example, I'm going to send out my 100 ton with my crane operator. I'm going to send out a tractor and a driver. One thing I do need to add to this is a trailer. So if there's something missing on here, you needed to add it. I'll need to send out a trailer with my tractor, so I can hit add unit people here. I will look for a trailer, and I'm just going to put in a bed trailer here, just in this example. So my dispatcher knows, they also need to send out a trailer on this job. With that being said, once you have everything in here like you need it, you can move on to the estimate tab. With the template that pulls this through for your dispatcher, the estimate will also pull through. We can tie it to an estimate, which pulls from your billing codes. And we can set default quantities and default rates and everything like that. I'm not going to go too much into that today. but it's a time saver when you're trying to create a quick quote. All of this stuff pulls through for you automatically, and you can edit quantities and rates here if you need to. It's really easy to do so. So, you can edit this how you need it right now. For now, we'll leave this as is. Okay. So once these three tabs are kind of built out the way you want them, there's also a lift info tab that you can put in any lift information. You can change the names of these fields if you need to, but this will also show up on the quote. If you had that information, you wanted to communicate that to the customer, you can also put this on the quote if you wanted to. All right. Okay. So kind of moving on to our profit forecast screen here. So this is pulling from our estimates. So there's billing codes in the system. We can assign costs to those billing codes, and I'll show you where to do that quickly here in a second. This will kind of help us gauge what our profit could be on a job, how much money we're making or how much money we're losing, depending on the situation. So for example, right now, my 100 ton does not have any costs assigned to it. So if I wanted to assign costs to this billing code, you would go to maintain codes, billing codes right here. Now this is something I'm not going to get too much into today, but I just want to show you where this was kind of done, where this is pulling from. If I go down to billing costs here, I have all my billing codes. If I go down to billing costs, these are all the billing codes as of right now that I have costs assigned to. I'm going to add my 100 ton right here. So it'll pull from my billing code. Hourly. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it'll be this one per hour. You can assign equipment, material, labor costs to define your hourly costs here for direct costs. You can also have indirect costs like union, workers' comp, labor, material burden. Again, we're not going to get too much into that today. For now, I'm just going to assign some quick costs just to get some information in our profit forecast. So once you assign some costs to your billing code, I'll hit save. It'll save that cost on this billing code so I can gauge my profit on my quotes. Okay, so let me do this first and I'll refresh this page and I'll show you what it's going to do next. So let me hit save. And you notice once I hit save, my quote number gets automatically generated at this point. So just keep that in mind as well. Our quote max has also populated from our estimate. It's going to pull the number of the total quote. It's going to pull this into this quote maximum field right here. So, okay. So now that we have assigned a cost to our 100 ton billing code here, you can see that we have direct cost and indirect cost based off of our quantity of hours that we're quoting for this job. It's going to give us a gross profit and a net profit percentage. And you can see that for each line here that has a cost associated with it. Some billing codes don't have costs associated with them, which is fine. Not all of them will. But down here, it'll total everything for us. It'll total our estimated quote, our total indirect costs here, and our total direct costs here. It'll add our direct and indirect to give us a total cost right here that we have assigned to our billing codes, which will give us a net profit once we take away our total costs, which includes direct and indirect. Your gross profit just includes your direct cost of 1,000. So it's just subtracting 1,000 from our total estimate here to give us this gross profit percentage. Our net profit includes any indirect costs like union, workers' comp, labor burden, material burden, things like that. It'll give us our net percentage here. All right. And okay, so once we're done with everything here on all of these fields, we saved it like I said. At this point, I did want to show you a couple of reports that tie to quotes. So if I go down to reports and quotes, I'll go into my quote status report. On this top field here, this is kind of how you filter out a report for your quotes in this instance. You can filter by company, yard. I'll go overview by in a second. You can use job date to sort by date. You can use created date, submitted date, things like that. All those fields we filled on the quote, we can filter our quotes, our quote report by these filters. So in this instance, I'll just pull out the dates here to kind of capture what I want to. Right now, I'm going to hit view by all quotes. There's other filters that you can apply to see, different views. If you had a bunch of quotes, we don't have a bunch of quotes in here right now. But if you had a large number of quotes that went for pages and pages, you're obviously going to want to use some of these filters to kind of narrow down what you want to look at. So this report pulls through a lot of just kind of high level information about your quotes, your customer, job site, start and end date, salespeople, the status of them as well. And if they were lost, it does include the loss code and comments as well, if that applies. Now that's also a filter that you can sort by quote lost. It'll show you all the quotes that have been lost, and you can sort by reasons as well, the reason that was put on for that. So in this case, it's just going to pull up these here. But yeah, like I said, you can sort by all of these other filters, things like that. All right, I'm going to pull up another report here, our quotes by report. This is going to give us a little bit more information on our quotes, including what pieces of equipment are going to go out, things like that. Again, same kind of setup as before. You have your filters here at the top. You can set your date range here. Go out to here, and then your view by, once again, similar to our last report here. So I'll go by all quotes. Again, this is going to bring in your general information as before. Any quote minimums that you had in here, I didn't have any, and then your quote maximums, which is what you're going to estimate the jobs are going to cost. It'll total it down here at the bottom for all your quotes. And as you filter, it'll total for whatever filter you have on. It's going to bring in the units the unit types we're going to use for the job, in addition to what employees would be going out on a potential job. Right, and let's see here. One more report is this quote profit forecast report. What this is essentially going to do is it's going to give you a high-level overview of your quote profit forecast for all your quotes. You hit this filter button up here to change your date and to stretch your date out. So I did it for the month of August, which is fine for right now. So it's kind of a high-level overview of all your quotes and what their profit, net and gross profit would be as you assign those billing code costs. So again, just kind of a higher level overview of everything. You can include your loss quotes as well to get that comparison, or you can filter those out by using your filter right here. Right. And with that, there's one more thing that we need to do with our quote. This converted to job field will populate once our quote is converted to a job. In order to convert our quote to a job, once it's ready to go and everything looks good, customer gives us the okay, we would hit this convert to job button. Before I do that, though, before I forget, we can generate a PDF of this quote as well by hitting this lightning bolt. This is kind of our attachments section here. And if you wanted to generate a PDF of the quote, you would hit new document. It would generate a PDF. It would then attach it to this file link section here. And you could then email that out to the customer or come back and view it at any time if you needed to. If you change anything on the quote, you would then save it and generate another document, which would give you the updated PDF with the new information that you put in on your quote. So you can change your PDF as you update information in your quote screen. At this point, I'll hit convert to job. It's going to ask me if I want to convert it. I'll say yes. And then at this point, it's going to load the job screen here in a second. With that, as you'll see, it's going to pull through a lot of the same general information that we put in on our quote in our job screen here. Company, yard, department, customer, job site, all of that stuff. It's also going to pull through our description of work, comments, equipment required, everything like that. Our salesperson taken by, all that good stuff, our dates, everything. Now, anything in here, like I said, can be changed at this point if it needs to be. If not, you are ready to hit save, and it would assign a job number, just like our quote number got automatically generated. Our job number would be automatically generated. There's a couple different tabs here on the job screen. So our main is going to show most of our main information, our general information. This parameters tab, you can add different terms and conditions. If it was a bear rental, you would have lease terms and conditions, things like that. You can mark a job as MSHA, OSIP, CSIP. If it was certified pay, if we had marked certified pay on the quote, this would be checked. If you needed a signed contract, you can check that as well. A bunch of different fields on here that we can get into when we do job screen overview, but just wanted to kind of give you a general overview of some of these tabs. Our resources tab is going to pull through our unit people that we built out on our quote. So it's going to pull through the crane, the employees, tractor, trailer, things like that, that the dispatcher can then assign specific resources to, a specific 100-ton AT to go out on the job. Our estimate tab is just going to bring over our estimate, that we put in on our quote over here from this estimate tab. And then storage is if you had any storage and storage jobs. I won't get into that today, but that is also another option in there. If we had any in-house comments, those would also pull through here as well. With that, that's about everything I had to cover. Brooke, I don't know if you want to take it over from there, and we can go over any questions or anything like that.
Okay, so we've got one question. If we could possibly see the signed attached contract from the quote.
Yeah, on our
Yep, on the job quote screen in the lightning bolt.
Oh, right here. Oh, yes, over here. Yeah, like a PDF of the quote. Yeah.
Yep.
Doc, let me see if we have one here. There's a couple different quote templates that we can do. Yes, Lori?
I think he's asking if, or he or she, I'm sorry. Oh, it's Amber. Hi, Amber.
Yeah.
If you can attach the signed contract to the quote.
Yes, you can.
So, yes. Yep.
Yeah, so you would do that on this screen as well. You would upload a file, and then if you wanted to include any attachments from the quote to the job, mark it as included in job, it would flow through it to an attachment on the job. Does that answer your question, Amber?
Yeah, I think so you do the upload file. Nick, do you want to?
Yeah. So if you had a signed contract in this instance, I don't have one for an example, but you would hit upload file. It would pull from your file down here on your computer that you can then upload to the quote into NextGen. And then you can also include that on the job if you wanted to.
But and then sorry, I interrupted you, Brooke. But yes, I didn't know if you wanted to go ahead and show a copy of the quote. I didn't know if that's what you were going with, Brooke.
Nope, you got it.
Okay.
That's good.
You know what? Maybe since we have a little bit of extra time, if you want to go into maintain units and unit code types, maybe show them really quick, just
sure
where those can be. Those
the
can configurations.
Be set up. Yeah, sure.
Yep.
I can do that. Yeah. So to get these configurations set up, you would go to maintain units, unit types. Now you have your list of your big list of unit types here that you would build out, but in this instance for your 100-ton, I'll pull that one up right now. Let me look for it here. If we have this here. Let me find one that we have it on. I'm sorry. I think we have it on the 100-ton. I'm sorry, I'm looking for. I believe it's this one here. No. Let's see, I think I have it for my 150. Yeah, I do. Okay. I'll use the 150 as an example right now. That's what I can find. So under your unit types here, as you add new unit types in, taking this 150 ton AT as an example, under unit people, this is where you would build out essentially the templates, if that's what you want to call them, or configurations that typically go out with your 150. So any defaults you set up here, any configurations you set up here, every time you're quoting for your 150, these lines would also pull through as well, like it did for our 100 ton, just to save you the time. That also ties to the estimate tab as well. If you wanted to add billing codes, that also pull through like it did for our 100 ton. This is where you would go through and build those out. So, for example, for our yes, Brooke.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you go to the job type in yard.
Yes, that too. So yeah, so with this, you can have different configurations for your unit types depending on the job type that you specify, or you can have it applied to all job types, regardless of what's selected. This configuration would pull through. You can also have configurations based on different yards as well, if that applies, or you can have it apply to all your yards in your company. So that's where these two kind of tie into. Is that where you were getting at, Brooke? I'm sorry, I didn't want
Yes,
to interrupt you.
because like some yards, some states and territories are union versus non-union, so you can kind of set it up on an upper level here for the bigger companies that have multiple yards.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So it's a way to kind of break everything out if you want to. Any other questions or anything you want me to go over?
Does anybody have any questions about anything? Yes, I haven't seen much in the chat. And keep in mind too that there's anything else that you want us to go more in depth with. If you can either send myself or Candace an email or your account manager, and we can set up a on-site or remote training with you on on all of these lunch and learns. So we do have one question about quote prospects. Nick?
Yes. For
do you want to show? Yeah. Do you want to show them the ways to search for?
Yeah, to search for the quotes. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure. For a customer. Yep.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah. Let me go back to my quote here. And just to clarify, you mean just different ways you can search for different quotes as you build them out and stuff like that?
Oh no. He's asking how to search for a prospect customer. Search for a quote for a prospect customer. Scott, is that what you're asking? Yeah, let's do both. How to search for a quote that's out there, and then search for a prospect customer.
Okay. So similar to the reports, there's different filters you can do when you're looking up a quote. You can sort by yard, salesperson, customer, things like that. And then you can set your date range using the job date or award date, things like that. Once you do that, you can hit view. It'll pull up all the quotes that you have and things like that. So you can filter it from there. Just to show you that quickly. If you have a new customer that you wanted to add in, you would just go through and hit this new button here. If it's someone that you never quoted for before, you can put them in as a customer, even if they're a prospect. You can still put them in as a customer and fill out as much information as you can about them. And so that's a way to put in a new customer, even if they're a prospective customer in that sense. Anything I'm missing on that, Lori, or does that cover what?
And then search for customers.
Oh, sure.
There. Yep.
Yeah. So you can also search for prospective customers too. Like Laura was mentioning, you can put in their name. Oh, it's taking this time on me today, I guess. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you can sort by name, customer code, all these filters, right? You can search by that. And then, like Lori said, you can also check this box to include any prospects that you have. I don't think I have any in here right now. But yeah, it would just be this checkbox right here. When you're looking at your customer list, it would include prospects.
And I'm not sure if everyone saw the chat question, but people are asking about the shortcuts in NextGen. There's several shortcuts, so we'll send that out.
Yeah, there's there's documentation that we can send out on.
Yeah,
on that.
and we'll just get that out to everyone. So
yes, of course. And then obviously if a customer is a prospect, you can mark them as prospect using the status. So instead of active or inactive, they would be marked as a prospect, and then they would show up on that prospect search if you did that. So does that answer the question? Hope so.
Scott is saying it when he searches for a customer and it's not coming up in there. So Scott, the customer is listed as a prospect, but they're not showing up. And then Nick just showed you that checkbox that you have to check to show that they're to include prospects.
Yeah, if that isn't working, Scott, it's something we can follow up about, I think, to try to resolve as well.
Right. I think the customer, when you are adding a customer to quotes, it's not going to show a prospect customer. Am I right, Nick? So go back to quotes. I think this is what he's asking. So if you go and you want to add a customer, you search a customer here.
I'll mark someone as prospect. Why don't I do that on here?
Yeah, let's
save it.
So it's AG Movers.
They're marked as prospect. I'll just start a brand new quote just to have it fresh. Yeah, they'll still be in here. Even though they are marked as a prospect, AG Movers, there's a lot in here. So AG Movers would still show up as a customer you can quote for. So if I go to AG Movers here, I'm sorting by, oh, you know what? Sorry, I need to sort by these guys here. Pulling these guys up. Sure why it's not pulling them up on the customer screen, but they are marked as a prospect, and we are able to quote for them. There we go. Okay. I don't know why I was doing that before, but yeah, see, they are marked as a prospect, and you are able to create a quote for them. They are saved as a prospect, I guess I should say, and then you can update the status at any time. But does that help, Lori?
He's saying it's not working. So
okay.
Searching for.
Okay, yeah, that's another thing that we want to let everybody know. If something is not working or you don't think it's working correctly, please send us an email at support@fleetcostcare.com. So that way we can, look into it, create a ticket, and see what's going on. Because if we don't know there's a problem, then we can't fix it.
Okay, Vanessa, yeah. Email support on that one too. So again, it's just at support@fleetcostcare.com. Those are some great questions and helpful to everyone, I think. So.
And also, if you're just looking for your prospect customers and not specific quotes, you can go into reports, customers. I believe it's customer detail and view by prospects. And keep in mind also that all of these reports you can export into Excel. Okay, well, if no one has any further questions, I am going to end the meeting. But again, feel free to reach out to us for additional training on quotes or anything, any additional remote training or on site. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And thanks for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Everybody.
Bye.